So, since Nixa and Othello aren't here this week, was going to be playing through some water maps. Apparently south is a better spawn on this map, so let's do this. And we shall see how this goes. Why is Twitch unmuting itself?
Please choose your
let's get rid
starting
of the grass.
location.
So this is kind of just a benchmark to see, because Lunch has been asking about water. I just want to benchmark it on this small map first. Alright. It's been a long time since I've played this one. Okay. Yeah, whatever it may be, I'll just have a look at it, really, and just get a feel for what's going on. I also probably need a bit of a warm-up, yeah.
Low power.
I used to have a build for this map, but I've so completely forgotten what it is. And I just feel like I'm running around with a headless chicken. Like a headless chicken. Wow, I'm so much more tired than I thought I'd be.
If the build doesn't include hovers, it's not good.
Okay. Probably.
Sorry, I have to troll a little bit.
That's right, and I used to play this as a modder, so okay.
Hello.
Hello.
I haven't played this game in a month, so I'm coming back here to relearn.
Hello, hello.
Okay, that was a bit of a fluke, but that was cool. Wow, kiting is so strong here.
Might be crazy. Why does it seem like the boats are
Visual over.
like
oh,
way
cool.
more maneuverable than normal?
Yeah, which lobby are we in?
Maybe because it's a small map. That is ridiculous, that kiting
All
behavior.
the Academy live.
Okay.
Maybe I need to turn down my settings. I'm lagging a bit.
Okay. That's not fun. GG.
Or am I too zoomed out? And that's why it's.
Okay, kiting is absolutely broken on this map. Oh, on C, I guess. I mean to say.
Yeah, it's a dance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gotta catch it.
Lol, I got the Roy out. Okay.
Oh. Bro.
Ah, he died anyway though. Okay.
I don't know. Why am I lagging so much?
Need power.
The torpedoes from that jellyfish were doing some wild things.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. That constructor, I clicked on the factory, he was sitting in the factory. What? Oh, manual fire for area of effect. Nah. Alright. GG. I need another run at that.
Battle ended.
I don't know why it was so hard for me to balance my energy that game. I'll just skim through the replay first.
Battle started.
Yeah. Perhaps having built her in a constructor, okay. Okay, let's run that back.
Master Bell, I can only see all of the people in the group on your stream.
Sorry, I clicked the wrong thing, I guess. There we go. Fine. I don't know, I honestly don't understand why people want the ranked game thing off. Like...
I don't know, it makes it feel like it's more fun, I guess. Less competitive. You can just like try stuff, like,
Please
alright, well
choose your
that's
starting
bad.
location.
Where you do it competitively. I understand that mindset.
If
That is
you
why
want
the
it,
training
like, why don't you
was
want me to
born.
lose OS? Like, I don't care. Like, I only play when I'm teaching people. It might as well be reflective of what my actual play level is. Like, I don't know. Like, it needs data to rate games, so give it data to rate games.
That's fair, but you didn't... Wait. Did you change it to ranked? Oh, okay.
We ready?
Battle started.
Not really, no. I mean, I don't know why I'm going mod because, like, Cortex is just plain better. But I like Armada, so... I'm pretty sure, like, there's something like the ship, the factory can be close to the land or something, but, I mean, I don't know.
You're low on power.
What? Fine. And I just lost all that to not paying attention. I am not playing well today. GG, I guess. Really should have just gone Cortex. I don't know.
Yeah, the hell is the Firefly? When was that added?
Is that Legion or something?
No, the Firefly is an Armada air troop.
Huh.
Armada level 1 air troop. Stealthy reclaim res and repair bot. Why'd they add this?
Interesting. Does that like repair fighters in the air or something? I don't see a use for that.
In Armada Air Tier 1. Firefly. Stealthy res repair reclaim aircraft. I believe it's just like the Lazarus, except it could probably repair air? Is it just like an air Lazarus then? Actually, it probably is just an air Lazarus.
Which is incredibly overpowered.
Yeah.
Someone just lost their commander already. This might be a hot take for some people, but the Legion's napalm is actually insane.
Need power.
I've never actually tried the Legion yet.
Yeah. Legion's quite fun, because the napalm isn't just like how most
Radar
games
lost.
do it. Like, it actually sticks around and spreads slightly.
So kind of like Storm in StarCraft?
Basically, it's an artillery, but wherever it lands, not only does it deal AoE damage, but it also does the flamethrower, like, napalm effect, where it lights the ground on fire. Anything that walks through it takes DOT.
Oh.
I don't believe they have afterburn just yet, but they do take slowly take damage while they're in the fire. Wow, this agitator is putting in work. There we go, there's your napalm artillery. This guy's got his napalm out. These guys are cooked. Because the napalm is actually ridiculous. Like, it's already strong enough that it's napalm, but the fact that it's a T1, and it's a barrage, which means it shoots them in bursts.
Oh, that's actually some insane area control, huh?
Yeah. And because you can do like artillery style area attacks with them, you could have them shoot one spot, swivel to the next, shoot that spot, swivel to the next.
Oh.
And here, look,
What?
let me share my screen, because this is actually the worst one. They have one that's just a Gatling gun of napalm.
What?
Imagine how.
Oh,
you can imagine how
that's
strong-
gotta be cool.
It's T2, so you don't have to worry about it till later, but it's quite the worry, because,
Yeah.
well, as you can imagine,
You're gonna
it's
torch
area
the
of
place,
napalm.
basically. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are you doing?
Master Bell for the.
Oh, and
sake
by the
of-
way, if you thought the Juggernaut was ridiculous, wait till you find out about Legion's Sol Invictus.
Oh, I've
What was
seen
that,
a
Jamerz?
couple. I've seen that.
That maybe for the sake of time you resign and we can analyze.
No,
the
I'm
game
not
and see
resigning.
what happens.
As a matter of principle, I'm not resigning.
Oh yeah, and Legion gets something called the Decurion, which, if you didn't know, is a machine gun on a tank.
What?
Yep, and it costs 300 metal, 3,000 energy each.
Huh. Wait, is there a difference between seaplanes and regular planes?
Battle ended.
Can't you do that in single player? Alright, clearly I don't have the build for this map, or I don't know. Let's have a look. Seems like I'm the one who's going to be learning today. Jamerz, do you have much experience with C?
A lot. I'm great
Alright.
at it.
Do you want to jump in and play a game?
Sure, after we review the last one.
Yeah.
Battle started.
Slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
The opens
it's
are
gone out.
very, very important.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Or that and then reclaim. And then... Yeah, I'm not using this initial energy at least. And then of course units out to cover that side. It's traditional.
I think the main thing is just
Yeah.
your commander not being on the lab.
Yeah, is that because they've changed build power stuff? Like, I mean, I don't too much mind not having, like, extra build power right now.
Well, it's just because you had metal to spend and wind is high, so like there was a
Yeah.
reason for your commander to be there, especially
Yeah.
on a C map like this, where it's like
Yeah.
a knife fight. It's very close.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally, I guess I would, and I wouldn't have Commander reclaiming. I'd put him building wind generators. But, like, other than that, we're pretty even at this point, apart from, like, I do even have an energy produced advantage, so... Yeah. The sub coming out is pretty significant, though. I thought I might have time to put down a turret launcher, but I very much didn't. And so you could say it's like that, metal used, let's say. Yeah, he's up on the metal used, which means that the sub gets out first. Also there, I was wondering like what micro could do with that con, but not much apparently. I very much failed to set target on that. I meant to, but then just sort of didn't. And then I AFK'd those things over there, and it's like, how much can you see about like trades? Like, because this could have been a very fair trade, trading these against there if I micro it and I actually kill the Riptide. And then I've got 2 subs over here against the Riptide and the sub, but I've lost my scout over here, I've lost my constructor, and then I'm very much behind. I also don't have this scout over there, which could be joining in that battle, and then all that is just AFK and not setting target to stuff. These were just not set target on that. I don't know why that one wasn't firing then, because it was right there. And so maybe that's a micro bad, maybe it was too close to fire or something, I don't know, but it should have shot it, that should have been dead.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird shot.
Yeah, and then it picked the target that was behind it and to the side, rather than picking the target in front of it, where I expected it to pick the target in front of it, but then I also thought I had set the target on it, but I'd probably cancelled it with stop or something, is probably what had happened. And then my commander stopped reclaiming before I've built any energy production, wind's low, and so I'm just out of stuff. Out of army, and yeah.
Well, I remember your comment about saying how you should have been core. Well,
Yeah.
when it comes to Armada C, it's faster, right?
Yeah.
Like the dolphins are very, very
Yeah.
effective at
The
taking out
problem
bases
is that they
and
kind
armies.
of changed it to the point where it doesn't really mean all that much anymore, the extra speed. Like, dolphins used to be like pawns. It's like they did a ton of damage up close, but now they don't really do that much damage ultimately.
Well, compared to what core has for options and like the expense of ships, they're still a very good option, and they do their job pretty well.
Okay.
Still, I think.
I just find that there's not really much of a way to actually make use of the speed. That sub could have gone over there at that point, just because there's actually stuff to kill over there. I mean, there's stuff to kill there, but that also shouldn't be there, so...
Well, just like other invasive units, you use the dolphins to, you know, get past their army. Even if just using splits, like you have a couple go one way, a couple go out the other.
Yeah.
One side gets by, and then you're taking out cons and stuff like that.
Pro tip, radar here sees basically the entire map.
That's overpowered.
Yeah, so that's why I walked my comm there the first game.
I don't normally play here. Does middle usually become like an LLT fight between comms or something?
Frequently enough in my experience, but I haven't... I mean, the last time I played this map, or basically NEC really, was like a couple years ago against Novi, so it's... And I think that was when Novi was new to bar, so it wasn't a lot of experience, so I don't really know what up-to-date stuff. I haven't played recent shit. I guess I've played a bit of Supreme since, but not much.
Okay.
Oh, so he genuinely didn't know where my command was. He knew where that was. I don't know why he didn't go and kill that though. Ah, he saw that, okay.
Commander destroyed.
Alright. Jamerz, you wanna jump in for a game? I have
sure.
to spectate for that.
You are now playing.
I'll try not to let my greed get the better of me, but I don't know. Been pretty bad lately.
Yeah.
Please choose your starting location.
I think I've played this map maybe one time.
I feel like I keep just thinking about gimmicks with this map rather than like actually just playing it straight. Which is probably not a very good thing.
Battle started.
I mean, gimmicks work.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, straightforward play is kind of, like, that's kind of been my shtick lately, is, like, I've been trying for tactics, and, like, all kinds of fun ways to play bar, and that's been losing me OS, because I'm not experienced in doing that. I'm used to trying to follow basic principle and stuff, like expanding, like, zoning stuff out, being efficient, blah, 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 and then, like, you know, you got people blowing up walls to reclaim the lab faster and stuff so they can tech swap real quick and doing like all this cheese. And I'm like trying to do this stuff, and it's like messing with, you know, my order of operations for gaming, and
Yeah.
just doing a lot of bad things for my OS.
Why the energy storage?
So I can, you know, just rely on these wins more, store some up.
Okay.
Low
Something
power.
more than I thought.
I mean, yeah, you're definitely gonna struggle to get through the starting metal on this map. But with just 4 wind generators, especially if wind's low.
啊，我没跑，我拿吃的。No.
that con could just reclaim that ship. It's got so little health it would just evaporate.
Low power.
Oh my god, I saw that the last second. Are you serious, dude? You can capture a destroyer faster than it kills you.
Yeah.
What? What? There's no way, man. There's no way.
But I turned off the music. What the hell?
Commander destroyed.
GG.
How do you guys play this game without it
Battle
turning to a
ended.
PowerPoint presentation? No, genuinely, I'm curious, because mine keeps lagging the hell out.
It's a very intense game. I feel you there.
I don't know, but that's a question for another channel.
Is the map unbalanced?
Let's load in, let's see. It doesn't, honestly, it doesn't make that much of a difference, I think. At least not on the order of a difference of what we're seeing in how you guys play this game.
I mean, I already know what I did wrong. I didn't make enough energy. The energy storage was a misstep
Battle
without
started.
making some more energy production and providing some power
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, even on average here, it's like, wind does vary a lot, but if you, like, we go for a wind graph, it's gonna spend most of it, like, its time higher rather than lower. It does spend, like, a relatively high time, but if it's just fluctuating in, like, the ballpark of, like, 8 to 18 or something, is like we've got what we see here. We do see it go lower, but a lot of that fluctuation is going to be handled just fine by the fact that it's just going to come up again most of the time. And so if you would have, say even on these two mexes with your comp production, you probably want at the very least 6 wind generators, I'd say. Or did I get that right? I mean, I guess it depends what you're building. Yeah, you'd want more, like, okay. Because there are a couple things to consider with the number of wind generators you build. Firstly, like, there's rock reclaim on the map, so you want to build more than the bare minimum, because you know you're going to use whatever extra there is, because of all the rocks. Then you can balance it out by potentially reclaiming when the wind is low, and or just riding it out, because that is all right to do. You will possibly, like, lose a little bit of energy when it's high, but that's why you build slightly below the average or something like that. And then the other thing is, like, just this factory on its own can use, while building your Riptide, the factory on its own is going to be using about 12 metal a second. And so you know that, okay, you've got these two, that's 5, plus Commander, that's 7, plus 2 more mexes, that's 12. So you're going to be wanting to aim for, at the bare minimum, those 4 mexes. And so with that, if you're building that, that's 120 energy per second. 90, take 30. That's, you need at least another 2 wind generators for the average. But if you're building, but then you probably want a little bit more for the dip, just a bit more. And 4 more wind generators is going to cost you about the same as an energy storage, less energy, so you'd have extra energy runway with the factory. And then if you plan to get any more mexes or do any reclaim in the near future, either you just add on reclaim, or you
Wait, how do you have that wind speed graph?
Wind speed graph?
Yeah,
That
how do you have
is
that?
something I made for myself. It is available
Cool.
on Discord in the widgets. If you search up my username in the widgets, you should be able to find it. The
Oh,
widgets
hell yeah.
channel. Lots of other useful graphs here.
Looks cool as hell.
Yeah.
I should try and get that working.
Yeah.
Widgets. It's under mods, right?
Yeah, modding, yeah. The modding section. So we actually see like a lot of energy coming down here for lonj. But what we're likely to see here, he runs out of metal and then he has way too much energy. You don't want to get yourself in that situation, because that is a crazy amount of energy excess. Again, that's somewhat mitigated by the fact that you can reclaim. If you add on a constructor assisting the factory, that gets you up to something like 25-ish metal per second on... You're going to be building the frigates most of the time. So something like that. Riptide, yeah. So somewhere around there. And that'll use up most of the mexes you're going to end up getting. So, like, for Jamerz, if all you were building in this place was the frigates, you have enough energy and you don't really need this. In fact, you've ultimately got a little bit more energy than you need. But what I definitely wouldn't do is take the constructor away from the base to do reclaim. What I'd do is I'd get the commander probably to go for the reclaim or build another constructor, especially because constructors build a little slower. They do cost a little bit more energy though, but you had the energy. And then that constructor, rather than this constructor having to go back and forth with reclaim, you can just have another constructor that can consistently get the reclaim out here.
That or make a res sub, for sure. Really, really handy on naval.
Yeah.
Normally, I'd be taking notes on all this, but my phone's died, so I don't got notes.
And I
You have
forgot
a
to hit
pen.
record, but that's fine. That's fine. I will be uploading it to YouTube.
I mean, this map.
Oh,
was
hell yeah,
supposed
you
to
have
be
a
warm-up Anyway,
Say again, Jamerz?
oh, this map was supposed to be a warm up, right?
Yeah, but we got stuck on it apparently. That's okay. No, not entirely just a warm-up so much as a starting point, because I like to start with the smaller maps first. So yeah.
I was really surprised to see his commander right there. Considering destroyers exist and the fact that I did attack you with one, I would suggest you don't bring your commander that far forward unless you have like your own destroyers and like a significant fleet. You might not be worried about it, but it's just a liability at that point. Like early game, his repair is almost invaluable. Winning you those early fights since ships have such low build power costs and stuff like that, but you gotta just pull it back. And I guess I really wasn't paying enough attention to this right here because I didn't notice until the last second that he was capturing it. I didn't realize you could capture it that fast. I know it's proportional to like the build time cost and whatever, but it never crossed my mind to try and capture it. Like if I get caught by a destroyer, I usually think I'm dead. I don't try to pull that cheeky play. So that was really good. I liked that.
Something else worth noting for both of you is you've both got this army up here, and both of you are sticking around with the commander with it. Now you do have the destroyer and all that, but you've also got these units which could totally just be running down here and doing something, partly in case something happens with the commander, but you want to keep that in mind for if it's something that's not a 1v1, and so it's a good thing to practice regardless. These units are completely useless here, actually. And all you need up there is the destroyer, and they can be pushing down here. These ones, they can't do anything to a commander, and so either you want them across here helping in this fight, or you want them in the base. So that's a pretty good start to begin with. Yeah.
It would be good to plan for the contingency. I honestly thought he would die. I
Yeah.
gave up trying at that point. I was like, you know, that's it. He's a goner.
Yeah. Other things
And
worth
it just
noting.
doesn't kill.
I do believe you could have killed this once it was converted, if for a couple things. Now, firstly, you had your ships really tightly grouped the entire time, and all these shots have quite a significant area of effect, especially the destroyer. If they were even spread out just a slight bit, like one there, you would have had at least an extra frigate. He'd have had to spend an extra shot on that, which is an extra like 5 seconds of shooting at that. Like how much shots? You'd probably have been able to kill that pretty comfortably with that, and then you'd still be in a really solid position. Not great, because now he's secured the metal over here, but pretty good. The other thing you're not doing, Jamerz, is you're not reclaiming any of this metal over here, in the middle here, and there didn't seem to be a plan from you to take this metal at any point. And even with your army over there, there wasn't a plan. It didn't seem had any capability to take that metal. And now it kind of makes sense. If you win the fight, you don't need to take the metal immediately at all. But I think it's very good to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I should play for the long game.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was my bad.
Yeah. And then the other thing, once you get into a situation where you're more or less pinned like this, sort of like fighting across here is a good idea, because if he has units here and here, you want to fight them separately, not together. But like here we're seeing again, Lonj, you have no radar. You don't. I mean, you can kind of guess because he moved his army there, but you don't know that he has absolutely nothing there. You don't have a scout, you don't have a radar. These could have just walked in there and killed him right now. And you're just not using them. Just like these ships over there had quite ample opportunity, especially while this was going on, to just drive in there and kill it. And so be very aware of that, especially if you're going to go for the moonshot capture and not just quit immediately, just do it. The other thing I'd probably say, once you've killed one of his destroyers, you don't really need a second of your own. I'd probably say just stay with the Riptide. They'll come up sooner, and so you'll be able to attack sooner. They deal more damage and have, I believe that, yeah, they've also got more health for the cost, so you're not sacrificing health or damage, really. And yeah. And then you could really just drive in, and your commander really could just add a radar here. Even like if you go for a land radar, just because it's so much cheaper, you can just pop that there, anywhere there, and that would be rather easy, trivial to.
Has died.
Good points. Good points. Oh, that was a ranked game.
Yeah.
Well, there goes another one.
Energy shot. That just happened because you couldn't
Might
build
have
as
tried
much.
harder.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it's fair overbuilding the energy. I think you just overbuilt it too much, especially if you're building titles. You could have just got something else to just build it later. Not that like your commander had a lot to do. Like your commander totally could have, once it was done in the water, just walked up onto the island as well. Then it would have been safer there. Like if you're not fighting, that's a very reasonable use for it. Can I jump in again and play? Check?
All means.
Why not check?
You are now playing.
If you don't know, check. I mean, it's harder to do than when you've got ticks, but still. What? Sure.
Please choose your starting location.
Ugh. It doesn't tell you whether the mexes are blocked by the trees or not. That is so frustrating.
Alright, sorry guys, I have to go head out and get some food. Have a good one, y'all.
Hey.
Have a good night.
Battle started.
Okay, so I guess I could build it over there because the tree gets blown up by the con. Yay! Yeah, I overbuilt. Okay.
Low power. Enemy commander destroyed. Your commander is
Okay.
heavily damaged.
GG.
Battle ended.
I've got to leave the battle before I can watch the replay. Let's see what we can see.
Battle started.
Oh, that's a nasty stall. I built a bunch of wind back here first before going to the water. Because I guess we've got our constructors done at the same time. But that is like a 3 wind generator advantage in like the same amount of time just because the build power wasn't stalling. And then like with that, like I have one constructor to go out, one on the base, and then I walk the commander out. That I don't really see a point in getting that Riptide out this early, because what are you going to do with it? Like if you're playing defensively and staying on this side of the map, it can kind of stay over there. That's a micro thing, just don't engage when you're outnumbered, but you should know that. That was pretty punishing in terms of damage. I am stalling for a while now. The other thing I'd be tempted to say is like, don't send this constructor over here. I don't recall what happens to it, but if you send that constructor over here, you immediately get this reclaim, and that's one of the things of multi-lane maps. And this will go for Paradise Lost too. If you're sending something over there, it's like plenty exposed, whereas like, I know I've got my commander there and you can't push that even though it's like a smaller army, so I can just come over here and not see the constructor, but kill anything you build over there while I'm holding over here. And then now you're split between 2 lanes, and so you can't really move, even though both sides it's a smaller army. What I'd probably get you to do in this case is probably either bring your commander in, and your commander, I guess he can't walk straight down there, but you can kind of link up your commander with your army by bringing it over there, which I guess isn't really your plan because you're sending it over there again. So you can link the commander up with the army and try to push out that way, and then like defend against that side with your titles. Or I guess you could push over there and defend over here. But then that, rather than keeping this army there, I don't know the profile of how these fare against your Riptide, but if you're gonna keep your army there, then don't build the torp launchers. But if you're gonna keep your, I guess maybe you want it for subs, but then you only really need one, or you need a destroyer. And then you bring your army over here, and then you push down this side, which is very exposed. I do have plenty of time to kind of respond and get up some sort of a defense against it, but that's where your greater strength is, and then that sort of splits the map like that and gets it back to even. Where's chat? Walk so far if you want to make wins to your base. I don't know. Like, cause you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look, you built like more wins on the shore than I did. I guess you chose to walk over there as well, but you don't have to build all of them right there. And because the other thing is your commander, you don't really want your commander boosting this anyway, because you don't have the energy, so you can just sort of bring him back to shore. I don't know where he'd be standing if you put the factory over there, but it's not too far from shore to just walk back. And yes, it is a tangible disadvantage, but it's not the size of disadvantage we're seeing in the way this game played out. So hyper-focusing on it is, I think, unhelpful. And if you want to hyper-focus on that, then just play south rather than choosing to play north and then complaining about it. Yeah, so these units coming over here, like if you bring your commander in, then I guess you can sort of fight a pitched battle against Mycon. But if you don't have your commander there, then you're fighting at a disadvantage, and you would be much better just pushing over there and then just playing more or less defensively over this side here. Because like even at this stage, like take 2 of your Riptides, leave the rest here, and this is free for you to walk through. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't.
Just one thing on that fight. When he initially went in,
Yeah.
his ships were kind of in a line.
Yeah.
So you were able to get a better angle, like flanking damage on him,
Okay.
which gave you a nice advantage that you didn't necessarily need.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely want to keep like the line straight and facing the army so that they get the least amount of flanking damage, or better yet, flank them.
Yeah, and like that last come around and come in, like you pretty sure you knew I had an overwhelming army at that point. Just don't attack once that advantage has been given over. You had some defensive capability over here. If you go for a destroyer early, like as soon as you know I've got a destroyer, then you can put up a fight against the destroyer, and maybe you're trapped in your base, but at least you've got something to work with. And you're in a lot better position rather than sending your last 2 frigates in against 5+ destroyer.
Commander destroyed.
Alright. Yeah.
Paradise for shore to shore. Both are good sea maps.
I want to... I want to give this one more, because I really want to emphasize the idea of like which side your army's going on, because that's something that's going to go for Paradise as well. And part of the reason I'm playing this map, and it might be hard for you to see, this is like a microcosm of Paradise. You've got split lanes here, where your army's on one side or the other. And so it has the same problems as Paradise, no? I mean, it's a little more extreme on Paradise, but you see them here too.
Paradise also has uneven spawns, so that checks out.
I just should double check. Yeah, I'm remembering what Paradise is. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or lonj, I guess.
I speak for him.
Okay. So I want to give this another game, and micro mistakes notwithstanding. Pay attention to the split on the map and where you've got your army, and where is strong and powerful and where isn't. And keep in mind, right, Um, something to pay attention to is there's like this idea that you've got. Say you have a map like this and you have a 2v2 you could imagine on this map. You have two players and you have the option between going one each lane or two on one lane. And the question is, which is better? And okay, there is some nuance behind that question, but because if you have, the idea is that if you have two on one lane, this guy can't do anything and you can just crush this guy because you're two on one. And that's great because it's like you've got the idea of two units on one unit. It's like you take this battle and it's not just like that this guy has because that guy has like a unit advantage, say worse than 2-1 because you can do your optimizations like skip a factory. You've got optimizations like skipping your factory. But when it comes down to it, what happens is this guy has a massive defender's advantage, and so 2v1 is 2v1 and 0v1. This 2v1 over here is less of an advantage than the advantage of a 1v0 up there, because he doesn't have to fight him, and so you end up just with units coming in the back of your base, or like free expand and massive return on investment, while these guys are fighting into a thing here where they've got like a commander. And there are definitely ways to be very effective with the 2v1, but and so you've got that same idea with your units, for example. If you have like an army, you can split it like equally across the map, and now it's useful to have like a large grouped up army in one place. But if you split out the army, onto the two sides, and it doesn't have to be done equally, it definitely depends on what split the enemy has, but essentially what happens is you split it so that you've got slightly less and you take advantage of the defender's things, and then you've got a tangible advantage on that side, and then you're in a really strong position. It's probably slightly underbuilt energy, but we're accessing, so I'm fine with that. Yeah, I did not need that many wind generators this early. Not quite. Idle factory is not good. For that compound.
Low power.
That's not good. They need guard before they can fight anything. Do they? How many times have I queued that constructor to reclaim those? Okay. He has a... Oh wow, they can really shoot that entire island. That makes it a lot less advantageous than I would have thought in the past. I didn't realize ships could shoot that much at all.
Detected.
I see lonj applies your same principle.
Good.
Enemy commander destroyed.
GG. That was better.
Battle ended. Battle started.
Yeah, see, it helps to build those before the water. I mean, I had 3 before I hit the water. But it definitely helps, and then you've got probably both of us did more energy than we need this game. I kind of panicked and like overbuilt, but wind was high, and so I really didn't need to. And then yeah, again, the 2 constructors come out, and you just happen to run into my commander this time. This game could have gone a lot differently if not. I really needed to have like reclaimed some rocks or something, I don't know. But I overbuilt stuff and I had no spare metal if I wanted to do something. I mean, this constructor could have stayed back there. And if I didn't build that, maybe I'd have had the time to put up a thing, but that could have been pretty nasty.
How much does a con cost?
200, 2,000.
So if you take the time to eat the rocks that are on your starting island, that's more than another con with the metal.
Yeah.
It's 300.
Yeah, and I can probably do that before going to the island. I think in the past I would have done that before going to the island, just because of the extra resources. I tried reclaiming that there, I should have just run the constructor away. Or at least the
tried to
like driven on top of it. What
yeah,
was
I
that?
was about to say, if you had tried to drive behind it, then you might have been able to get the repair off.
Yeah.
I honestly thought it was going to repair it in time, but I guess subs do kind of have a high build time.
Yeah, it's crazy high, but they're also a really expensive unit. Like scaled for the cost, it is slightly higher than average. I don't know why they do that, but it's a thing they do. And yeah, I mean, what I could imagine is like you could totally have multiple subs on this map, and I've got ships here that totally could be in use, except I really did need to send one over here, because again, we've got the kind of thing. You've got one over here, one ship over here, launch, and then you've got the other ship over here, but it's just sitting there, where that could be driving in, and because I've built a sub, I mean, maybe the sub would have time to kill that, but you could be pressuring, you could be killing my radar earlier than now, maybe killing this one driving around there and killing that. There's things you could be doing with these ships that you're just not doing, and that allows me to get stuff done on like the other side of the map, like killing that constructor. Like that's sort of like a mirror difference. You did kill my constructor over there, and I don't think I actually get around to killing that next, even though maybe I should. But yeah. And then it's like, yeah, because I know that even though I'm at a disadvantage, I can keep this alive. I can move the sub away and go somewhere else with the sub, and then just sit here like that with these. Although, even then, if you just stay away from my commander, you still have plenty of room to move over there. So there's stuff you can do. idle con over there could be repairing. This
I
is good
think
over
it would
here.
have been
Hmm?
a worthwhile endeavor for each of you to slap down an energy converter at some point.
I just shouldn't have built so much wind.
Well, yeah, but even then, like at some point, you're like, all right, let's end the excess and slap down an energy converter.
No, there's too many other things for my constructors to do. I don't want to build an energy converter. But apparently the commander can walk up there. I didn't know that, but that's cool. Yeah, but this is a lot better balance, having like part army here, part army there. Just make sure you keep this constructor doing stuff. Repairing, if it's not got anything else to do, bring him over there, and fight over there. If you know that like I'm less defended over here, and you see that my commander's over here, that's when you go and try to attack in there. You know that there are 2 ships there. Just bring 1 more over there and go and attack. Though I guess you're going to sub because of this. I could just... I could have brought this up repaired and just followed you in there, though. I'm really confused personally about what to do with, like, sub versus, the LT skilled you. That's funny. But, like, I'm not sure it's true. Like, LTs don't cost that much energy. And if you have, like, this much stored up metal, the LTs aren't actually made that worse or anything. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, and then here, what happens here, it's a similar thing over here. I know I've just beat you in this lane, but I don't feel confident to run at the base. So then and plus this one's closer, so I know that I've got more of an opportunity over here. I know your commander's up there, so I just run my army up there and clear that out next. Subs are rough. Like, I wish they didn't cost so much. And then you could build more of them, and then they could actually be a dynamic part of play. Or a more dynamic part of play. I wish that the defenses were more range healthy, so that you have more interactive, and I just... Undersea stuff just feels like such a poorly integrated part of play, just like air is. Except it's in the same factory. I don't know. Yeah, okay. I think we've covered enough of that replay. They cost 800E and have no... actually it's 700 and they have 90 metal. I mean, you're not stalling any harder than you were. Like, maybe you've redirected the energy from there to there, but that would happen no matter what you build. So, you were e-stalling regardless, I'd say. Okay. Let's have a go at Paradise. Jamerz, do you want to do the honors?
Sure.
Cool.
You are now playing.
There seems to be a scam thing on Discord. On Twitch. I wasn't sure at first because I've only seen it once, but it's like a random person joins this chat, says nothing else, but it just says it's like just a bunch of compliments and then says add me on Discord and then gives their username. It's really weird.
It is a bit odd. Not sure.
Yeah, but now that I've seen the pattern, and I'm pretty sure it's a scam, and I'm just gonna ban them. I'd have to remove you first, Victor, if I wanted to add you. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Battle started.
It's gotta be, right? Because two random people would... Like, the message was definitely, like, notably similar. But two random people aren't gonna, like, randomly say exactly the same thing. Even if it's reworded, you know? And then I've had other people like message me on Discord and just like want to talk about my YouTube channel, and I'm like, I also don't know if that's a scam, but wow, it's weird to just have someone out of the blue just go, it's like, hey, want to talk about your YouTube channel? And I'm like, yeah, but you're talking about it in a way that it's like no one like, or sorry, you're talking about it in a way that like you don't tell me anything about like a specific video that you liked. You're not asking about the stuff that I'm talking about in my videos that I clearly care about. You're talking about something that I guess I do care about, which is like my videos generally, but like so vaguely. It's like I'm not gonna engage with that, I don't think.
I mean, you could try, yeah. Interest is interest. And expand on whatever they're talking about.
I mean, I could, but like in the perspective of I have other conversations already going, I have other projects, and it's something. It's left of field, so it's kind of random, and so very like. And then secondly, it's like I've already got my friends. Like I guess I have room for more friends, but I just can't friend with any random person who messages me. I don't know. Like, because I feel really bad about it, even though there's part of me which thinks it might be a scam, but I don't know. That's a different thing. I don't know.
It's okay to be wary.
Yeah.
Also okay to be antisocial.
Yeah. I mean... Because it's not so much I don't want to be social, it's more like... I keenly know that I have to choose who I'm social with, because I've got too many options. Like, most people, I guess, have too many options, even if they're maybe too anxious to talk. Like, I made a bunch of friends, like, because my brother worked at a place, and so I, like, chose to be friends with his co-workers, because he was friends with them. And it's like, yeah, I prefer to be friends with those guys than other people. And I don't know.
Good to be selective.
Yeah. It's something I struggled with a long time, and I guess I still struggle with. It's like, even like in-game, I spent so long, I would just switch between factions because I didn't want to have a stronger faction. And so anytime I felt one of my factions was weaker, I'd just switch to the other one. And I wasn't always like that, but I guess a lot of that came from like having people like hearing people mock people who had a weaker faction and being like, oh, I don't want to be like that. I don't know if it's just that, because I'm really competitive. I don't like to show it, but I really am.
I mean, it comes out. I know.
Any examples you'd like to give?
Um, well, I mean, it's kind of like overall, like you don't get this far, and like, in my opinion, you're fairly renowned as a bar player. Like you were playing and like in videos and like a well-known player when I started. I was like,
Okay.
it was like a year ago now, and
I
you
know,
don't get
yeah.
that far without. Oh, this is bad. Not my con.
As a rough thing, Jammers there, you had your comms underwater, so it doesn't really need your ships to be sitting right beside it. So you just put the ships over where, like, in the other area. Plus, that's the area your factory is, so that's where reinforcements come faster. So again, you want the ships at the other side of the map. Lonj is sort of doing that alright. He has his ships where the vulnerable points kind of are. Because it's like your mexes aren't vulnerable points unless like a sub gets through. So you don't have to worry about the mexes that are down, you only have to There's been the same thing in Discord servers, that's interesting. Okay, check this, yeah. Lol. I don't know. Corcom kind of looks like he's in a straitjacket. You definitely do want to send out a replacement con when you can, Jammers. Just for, like, repair, vision, stuff like that. And you really don't need to send a frigate to the lane with the sub. And just the destroyer. I also wouldn't work that commander backwards to send up a new constructor, because he can keep moving forwards and claiming territory, providing with vision, and establishing that control, but by moving backwards you just sacrifice so much of that. And there's also that thing I was talking about, Jammers. You've got all your units in one lane, but like they're like right to the side. You want to spread out your units more and have, if there are empty open places on the map, you want to move units into that as well. I feel like in theory the same goes for Lonj, except I don't know if there's much he can do about that. But yeah, okay, he's got the units on one side of the map, and he's sending over to the other side because that's where he can do more. But keep in mind, don't send too many things over, because if, say, if say you've got a commander, you only need just enough to kill the commander and immediate reinforcements to it, and then you can just match wherever the other unit's sending. So like that army there is complete overkill. Especially with the second Roy. Meanwhile, Jamerz, it's like, if you can't do anything there, just go somewhere else where you can do something. Especially if he doesn't have a Roy, you don't have to worry about defending any mexes, so you can just go elsewhere. Yeah, like that. And had you done that earlier, you might be a little bit more even on the trade. And of course, Lonj, you've got to keep in mind, the closer you move to his factory, the more, like, defense he has there. And if you go too far across the map with your entire army, he's actually closer to your base. So Lonj, you know where his army is, right? You can just drive all that army straight through now because there's nothing backing it up. Not that you can necessarily kill when there isn't... when all the mexes are underwater, but yeah.
Radar lost.
Plenty more I could talk about here, but I'll try not to overwhelm you guys. Again, it's like Lonj has just made the mistake of diving too deep and going right into the army near the base. Jamerz, you don't want to make that mistake again. Once he's got a solid resistance, just turn around and come back out. Like, you've got 2 lines of mexes that you can see that you can just send the destroyers or something like that, an expansion further away from where the ships are coming from that you can kill. Just don't trap your destroyers in the cove. But you can make use of the kiting in that, so he can't really fight you. Just keep your army together enough. Looking elsewhere on the map. That's a good way to use the resources you've got in storage, Jamerz. No, Jamerz.
Low power.
This is a very good time for air scouts, Lonj. you've just destroyed the main target and you need to find your next target. Okay. Then just move your ships there, but also like keep an eye on like, is he doing anything else across the map? Even if you know where he primarily is, you want to keep an idea of like what else is going on. And like, if he's there, what does he have there? You have like very little idea other than the fact that there's a ship factory. That's a bit better, but again, radar. And do be careful with your attack. Just because you're ahead doesn't mean you don't need to be careful. Or there's great value in being careful even if you're this far ahead. You will kill him, but practice that that discipline of grouping your army together. Still, practice the discipline of using your army well.
Your commander is heavily damaged. Commander destroyed.
Alright.
Battle end.
Not a fan of commentary during my ranked games.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of forgot that one. And I kind of realized at some point, and maybe could have stopped even more than I did. I'll keep that in mind for the future, Jamerz.
I appreciate it. My OS depends on it because my focus is good.
Oh, okay. Even in spite of the fact that you guys were distracted and couldn't really think about what I was saying,
That's all I
lonj.
can think about.
Hmm?
The problem.
Oh, okay. I'm curious as for especially lonj, how the way you played this game might have been impacted by our previous games. Was it? Did you play differently than you usually do?
What do you mean by count at the metal? Like army value?
Okay.
But I assume he's talking about like game sense. Like, well,
Yeah, it's
he's
so
got
that...
all this over here.
Okay. And is that in terms of like where you should send your ships for like where he's likely to be weak? Yeah, that's great. You did like look like you were splitting things very well. And you went comm hunting. Good, I'm glad you did. Alright.
I don't know what we have to teach him.
There are
the
definitely
general-
things. So this was pretty solid having these here. I generally advise that when you don't have vision, especially with fast units around, you might have one or two out here to scout, but the primary place you want the scouts is right near the constructor. That's it, your faster units, that's right near the constructor. That's even more important on a map like this where everything is so spread out. And related to that, because you've got points on the map which are going to be more heavily defended, you need to be more diligent about detecting whether something's defended and staying away from protected places. Like, do not bring your units into here because you can't get out. That's a really, really big thing. And it's honestly, it's a big advantage to this side, I'd say, just because this guy has much less defensible spaces. Like, if you think about, like, a unit can run in that side and run out that side. He can still be cut off, but he's got that option, whereas like you run in there and you have to run out basically the same way. It's a bit like if we compare the size of that opening, or like that's the narrow point of it, let's say that's 917 versus like 881. This one's a little bit smaller. The island's in a bit better way, but then it's like, even if that's the narrow point, it gets like much wider out there, which is really, I think is really bad for this side. And you've got the similar issue over here where you can run in and out, where you don't really have that there. You've got tight choke point there, like this tight choke point, 573 is smaller, tangibly smaller.
Can you measure the walk time distance from the two land mexes that are nearest the spawn point on either side? Because I believe the one that's on my side is a longer walk.
Let's estimate that as like around 470, and then this one's much bigger. This one's a much bigger walk, even if you're talking just that distance.
Took the greed walk. I didn't abuse the economic advantage. I still tried to go for more of an early advantage thing.
Yeah, well, you do have an economic advantage at this point, even. Or is that what you're commenting on? So yeah,
I was talking about earlier.
Earlier. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I think it's reasonable enough to say you've got a reasonable economic situation here. So yeah, this sort of situation. These over here, near this constructor, and then that wouldn't die, and you'd be in a much better position from that. If you want to, you can like try to send things through there, but once you see that he's got stuff there, either you need to match it with something like slightly stronger, or well, you do need to match it with something slightly stronger, not as strong, because remember, you've got a commander over here to defend it and allow you to freedom to put things elsewhere on the map. The other thing you want, once you see that stuff there, you want radar, you want to track where it is. How much is it? Is there any reinforcements, or can I just jump on it and surprise it with a slightly bigger army? Because like these two ships, they could have just jumped on and gone through, but like overall, I would prefer them there, and maybe one frigate there with the commander. And then again, over here, you've got this very exposed constructor over here. These don't need to be back here at all, especially not all four of them. Maybe send one chasing, maybe two, and get these two to stay out there with that constructor. And then he's fine, he's safe, and then you can start thinking about, well, this is pretty undefended, I can go kill that. This is pretty undefended. The other thing that I'd say is just have at least a sub on standby somewhere, so that you can, at some point, so that you can start going and killing mexes. But I would initially focus on killing army, and then you can always kill a mex with one of the torp launches. And then eventually a Roy. But yeah.
Okay.
Like in this case, lonj, this would have been a great opportunity. You've got these ships here. That's a very significant presence. Just go and kill this, and then you bring a sub through. Rather than focusing on going through here, yeah, you've killed the radar. Don't worry about that until you've got a sub through so much. Focus on cutting down this army so your cons are safe, or cutting down the army so that you can match with a sub. Seaplanes, Olden, time for Snowball. That's a really good idea. This is alright, we've got the army coming over here. He can just jump on you here. Be very careful with sending these units forward. I know it's difficult, but try to be a little bit more judicious about where you build your radar because of stuff like that. And keeping the radar alive by parking your army close enough to the radar to dissuade him from engaging it. If he dives for the radar and you kill a bunch of ships, awesome, great, you killed a bunch of ships, worth it. But you want that radar so that you can see what's what. And then one radar there would close this entire area off. Plus this radar, it's like, if you even have put the radar further out like there, then the radar actually tracks subs as well as giving you a better idea of what ships are moving through this crucial choke point here. Where this, like, it gives you enough information to see something moving through, but not enough information to close it. And then also, if like you have a radar out here, for example, or here, you don't really need this radar back there at all. You just need units.
Okay.
Be careful with things on weight there. Because it's not like he had more units than you, he just had them in a more useful place.
Oh, I know. I saw the army values. I realized that my units were too spread out.
Yeah.
Gave him a win condition.
Yeah. This sub shouldn't have got through. You had vision of it. If you're gonna move away and abandon this location, probably put down an urchin first. You know you're gonna need to defend that and stop stuff from getting through. And then this case here, right? I guess you don't have a constructor up there to build that radar, but that's why it should be a priority, because you've got 4 frigates and a destroyer. He's got 4 frigates. You can win that easy. And he's gonna have reinforcements, but if you jump on him, you at least have the liberty to dictate what happens for a little bit. Maybe like do a loop like that or something, kill 1 mech, something like that. You've got power that you can use pressure. And probably likewise, you could be having a force, like, it is entirely reasonable to say, take a destroyer and a frigate just down here and send them through and start doing stuff. I'd probably also send like some sort of radar. Your commander can probably like aim to get some sort of forward radar up there. And overall, you generally want to be pushing him from this side and just defending that side, because this is where you've got most power to attack because it's closer to your factory, and he's weaker because it's further from his factory over here, sort of. He's also pretty far from the factory over here.
Yeah, I thought about that. I opted out of it because I thought that I could beat him top lane and just get the reclaim.
You could, maybe, but you've got to actually fight him to beat him.
Right, but the lack of radar and whatever, I guess I was being too skittish with it. Plus, I had a lot of resources, and I was more focused on... I have a lot of resources, and I was more focused on trying to spend that, which is why I went into the seaplanes.
Seaplanes is a bad way to spend resources, especially with this sort of resource profile.
Expensive. They're expensive. They're great at spending resources.
They're great at spending energy, I'm pretty sure. But we could do a bit of comparison. This is good with the ships over here. As I was saying, way overkill to have 2 destroyers over here. what similar to what I was saying with Jammers, 1 Roy, one of these, and 2 frigates is probably what I'd send. And then you can just push through to there. And then in a bit, we're gonna see you guys make a similar mistake. Something like this happening over here, especially in a pretty even game like this, should be a very good cue for you to just push this down. And rather, because he's got his entire army over here, right? Rather than sending all this over here, how many ships do you have? 6 and 2. It's got 5 and 3. So you could push your bigger army forward a little bit more and continue to push him back a little bit more before you come back. And then all you need initially is just 1 destroyer to move through here. Do you have radar coverage? You still don't have radar coverage of this area. In this case, this next radar is more effective than the mechs. What I was saying, you have insane energy cost on that. That's 5,000 energy for 230 metal. Versus this is 420 metal for 2,800 energy. Which means, like, you're overbuilding. Plus, sure, it's a good way to spend resources on, like, 1,400 metal that don't go anywhere. And especially if, like, on this sort of a map, most of the mechs are underwater. What are you going to kill? You have to do a base race, which it requires an extremely large advantage, and you don't have an advantage overall economically in this situation.
Right, that's what the seaplanes are for. Take out his titles.
Yeah. Okay.
They got delayed though.
Why? How are they delayed?
Because they went to attack ships.
Good.
At least half of them. Like 2 of them went around the side.
Honestly, they probably attack ships better than they attack a base. Especially when the other guy's floating as much energy as you are.
I mean, seaplanes are ridiculously strong for air compared to other air. They do pretty well.
For the cost,
if I had gotten just focus base, then it would have done better. But
for the cost, they're actually pretty proportional. Also, like, think about what sort of damage they're going to do in a base versus what damage they can do against an army. Also, let's think about, how much have you spent on that? Yeah, so those, what speed are they? 152. So their comparable speed to let's just use a Banshee as comparison. The Banshee is faster. That's going to take them a minute to come over here. What damage per second on each of them? Damage per second on each of them is 72. So let's go. And remember, it's going to take them more time. That's 4,752 damage. That's like 2 of his frigates. Or like an entire one of his destroyers. And then once it gets over, like, that was per one of these. So those 2 cleans up those 2 Roys on their own. Or comes over here, engages in this army. If you can kill down his anti-air, maybe like, I don't know, maybe they can take out the anti-air on their own. And then they can just sit there hitting their ships. I think that's more powerful, especially when you've got this here, which is tying up his army. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And then what I'd say is even more powerful is shurikens, right? So how much is it for a shuriken? I'm gonna have to go to the website for that.
I believe he has an air lab.
He doesn't have the air lab until you have one. And then he puts one up in response. So let's go shuriken. 58 metal each, 1,300. So you can get 4 shuriken per cutlass easy. So you have 3 of them, right? Like this could be 8 shurikens, 12 shurikens here, plus for the price of the factory, you could have like because the factory is an extra few thousand metal, you could probably have another 3 shurikens. So you could have like 13 shurikens plus any extra that you can build. Here, stun this, disable it, you take basically no losses there rather than taking like, I guess you basically took no losses anyway. Maybe like a couple of light ships. And then they can fly straight over here. By this time, how many cutlass do you have? You've got like 4 and a bit cutlass. That's like 16, 19, 20 shurikens or so. That deals with this army so easily. And he doesn't even have his air factory yet. So, really, no, they're not that effective. Compared to what, like, other options, for example. Keep in mind that also if you built this air factory and built shurikens rather than these, you'd probably 4 shurikens, you'd probably spend about the same amount of metal. But just on the factory building, like, if you could build, again, 4 shurikens for the price of that factory, that would leave you with like 1,000 metal. 700 or so of that gets spent on an 700 gets spent on a factory, and so it's a little less. You'd probably have another frigate if you built like that instead. Plus, then all this build power can focus on this.
Can you fit a factory on that island where my build power can actually reach?
This is enough build power to build shurikens.
No. My initial main base, that small island that is actually touched by my build power, can you build an air factory there?
Yeah, you'd have to record trace there.
You know, it just comes down. Otherwise, it just comes down to like not planning for building, you know, the core air lab.
Oh, the ship can build it. Nice. Didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew that, but like if I was going to build that lab, I definitely wanted to have it within contour range. So something to plan for sure.
Yeah. And like these cutlass, again, they could kill this easily. And then once you've killed this army, you can also think about it this way. If you kill this army, then it does a lot more damage to the base than the cutlass can. So let's see. Okay, he doesn't have his fighters coming out quite yet. You did reveal them early, and a couple have been caught up over there doing whatever. Oh, the other 2, I guess, died to the anti-air. But what are these gonna do? I guess you're distracted microwing. They kill a couple mexes. They come to the base, and he has anti-air. Like, even with cutlass, like, he can just put up 4 anti-air, and like that's fine. Like, I don't know. I guess you fly over this, Max.
I need to reiterate, it was supposed to be a surprise.
Right. Right, but like you still fly over this, Max, and then even if it's a surprise, he just puts down a C factory with his commander over here and he's off to the races. Like, commander plus C factory can like produce, like, use up all his resources. The bulk of his energy is down there. Like,
well, that's a surprise to me.
And then, again, like, keep in mind, you sacrificed your base for those 5 cutlass. Like, he discovered that without... Like, he discovered that because you engaged. And yes, you could have killed him without revealing the cutlass, actually. So that's something good to keep in mind. But you... Like, even if that was a surprise, way less effective than just killing a couple of his ships, having a ship advantage, and then you just drive back in and take that much of the map. And then you can, like, get them into action, like, way faster. If he drops an air factory and builds fighters, like, sure, fine, that's plenty effective. You've done your job. He's got fighters that can't shoot your ships, and you got to shoot some of his ships with your air. And you've got ships that shoot his air by default, so you're in a great position, actually. So I think that's a better trade-off overall. If you want to do something like Cutlass that goes for the base, you better wait till you actually win much bigger a battle. You kind of won a couple skirmishes up here, but only after you'd won a skirmish there. So overall, you were pretty even, and overall, he actually had an economic advantage that you weren't aware of. You hadn't got a decisive enough advantage to sink, like, thousands, like, multiple thousands of metal on something that wasn't ships, because I will reiterate, you sacrificed your entire base for that, and those Cutlass were never going to kill enough of his base, like both bases across the map, in order to make up for you sacrificing your single base with absolutely everything in it.
Right, well, it's the beauty of hindsight that he was going to all in me once he saw
Well,
seaplanes.
well, that's great. Well, now it can be foresight. We're reviewing this not for it to be hindsight, but for it to be foresight for next game.
No, I know.
Yeah.
This just goes back to my point of, like, me trying to do technical things when I should
Yeah.
just do what other people do and make ships or medium tanks. Throw them down
what
lane.
I would say is, if you're going to build those Cutlass, which you can totally do, make sure you use them with your ships. Again, what I'm saying, if these two Cutlass were just down here shooting these ships, and say if they all fought them together rather than piecemeal, you kill all these anti-air ships, which is reduced damage and vision for him, which is a bonus for you, and then you continue to kill his other ships, you are absolutely fine. The factory isn't the problem there. The problem is what you did with the factory. And regardless of whether he sees them and all in use because he knows whether they are, he is going to notice that you are down thousands of metal of army on the front line. Hopefully, if he's playing well. And that's part of what I'm getting him to do. Notice what they're doing. He notices thousands of metal missing, and he just drives... Okay, that was a mistake driving in over there, but he drove straight in over there. Now, why do I say driving in here is a mistake? Coming up this way isn't a mistake, but see how he drove straight in towards the base, and he just got swarmed and died? You did a similar thing over here. You drove in here. You parked your ships in this cove where they can't get out, and he just drove in after you and killed you and you died. Because when you're attacking a base, you're traveling towards their production. And so, unless you have a really, really, really overwhelming force, and you've won a massive battle somewhere else on the map, generally, you're not going to be able to push into their base. And that, generally, I would say is a similar thing for aircraft too. Similar principle. Don't go for the base unless you've got an overwhelming advantage or a really, really good surprise. Because they've been lacking on scouting and vision and stuff. So, because remember, there could have been a radar up there that saw you as well. Like, just because there wasn't. Like, there was one over here, there could have been one over there too. Gives him enough time to build anti-air. So, if you're going to do something like push up with an army like this, what you want to do is not drive into a cove like this. You want to come out this way. And that, hopefully you have some vision or some awareness that he's taken this area, or just the possibility that you don't know. You know he's not here, and you don't know if he's here. Your ships come out that way, and then you start sending new ships that way. So if he chases you back this way, then you drive back in, and then you go and kill this, because he's then going to have to pull his units over there and stop this. And lonj, for you, You drive your army up here, he pulls his army over there, and then you know, okay, I can attack over here because he's not reinforcing that anymore. And hopefully you've got reinforcements up there that can help over there. Or just some idea that you have some advantage. But you know you can, it's your best opportunity to like probe and look for a weakness because it stopped reinforcing up there. And yeah, it does take ships like a little while to drive over there. It's like 55 seconds for the cavalry, so maybe like the exact timing of that weakness isn't going to line up with exactly when you come over here. Maybe it'll be a bit delayed, but know that something like that is going to happen and take advantage of it, but don't sacrifice these ships to do that. Make sense? Yeah. Yeah, this army coming in here was great, and then coming in there was pretty good. You could just do that way more directly. Alright. Again, I'm going to leave it there for today. I have run a bit over time from where I'd like to stop. I do highly recommend that you practice more if you have the time. I hope this was actually useful to you. I was really scared at first because I haven't done C in a while, but I think I figured something out. Yeah, nice. Please let me know how it goes, drop replays and stuff. I haven't really had a lot of time. I've had time, but I've been spamming advanced fusions on Comet Catcher. But I'll hopefully check out the replays and have a look and see what sort of stuff you're doing. And yeah, see you all next week. Thanks everyone who is in voice chat, which is just you two at the moment, and anyone who joined on stream. That's really appreciated, which is also basically no one in stream chat as well. Oh well. It was good. Have a lovely week, guys, and catch you around. Bye.
You as well.